Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Live at 5. I am Janine Troutman, and I am the founder of Minding Your Soul. It's a Facebook group where we all get together and we talk about how to get healthy naturally, the way I did using nutrition. I had made a promise to God a long time ago. When I was laying in bed paralyzed, I said, if you help me figure out how to get out of this bed, I promise I will spend the rest of my life teaching other people how to do it. And that's what Minding Your Soul is. This is me giving back. Now, we talk about all different topics every week. So, I see people jumping on. So hello, thank you for joining. Hi, Denise. Thank you so much. I really do love sometimes I can't see the comments. So I love when I do because I feel like it's so much more interactive and I'm actually talking to people and not just staring at myself. Sabrina, hello. Thanks for joining. All right, I hope you guys are as excited as I am. This is always, I say this a lot, but I think the Epstein, I almost gave it away. I think this topic is one of my most favorite ones. Denise, you did make it. Jonas is here too. Thanks for hosting this. You are so welcome. And Blanca, God, everybody, thank you for joining me. I love talking to all of you. I really do. And I love our conversations that we have offline. I love the questions and I love watching you guys heal from this information. So please keep those comments coming. Hi, Janine. I finally get to catch you live. I know it's a weird day, right? I feel like they're off their schedule. So I think that's why they're like, oh, you know what? I think I'll catch a live today. All right. So the way I thought I'd get started is how did I get into this information? I am the kind of person from when I can remember as a kid, I always asked why is this happening to me? So when the neurologist said, you have MS, and why do I have it? Where did I get it from? Well, we don't know. And there's no cure for it. What do you mean there's no cure for it? How did this happen? I didn't have this a couple of years ago. I don't know. It's just something that your body does. It attacks itself. And I took that as gospel for a very long time. And I got worse and worse and worse. And what happened was I stuck my head in the sand. I was way too arrogant, young, and I thought too important to be sick. Hi, Daria. Thanks for saying hi. So what I did was, after my diagnosis, I put my head in the sand and figured that I would just forget about it and deal with it the way I dealt with every other stress, was just to turn a blind eye to it. But what I didn't realize at the time is, hey, Nikki, how are you? What I didn't realize at the time was that everything that you ignore blows up in your face. So that's eventually what happened. It got worse and worse, and I eventually went to the doctor. He's like, Janine, your immune system is attacking right next to your optic nerve. And if you don't go on the medication soon, there is nothing that I can do for you. You will be blind. So long story short, of course, I went on the medication. It was the beta-serone, and it was the shots every other day. Not only was it the shots every other day, but he also prescribed 9 pills of Motrin every single day. And I'm like, there's got to be consequences to this. I shouldn't be taking 9 a day. But if I didn't, I would turn into the Tin Man without oil. All of my joints would just cramp up and I couldn't move. I was in quicksand. So I took the 9 pills of Motrin every single day. So I did this for a year. I was on the beta-serone, and all of a sudden, I kept getting worse and worse to the point where my arms and my legs were paralyzed, and I was laying in bed. And that's when I said to God, please help me. There's got to be something you could do to get me out of this bed. I was being carried from my bed to the bathroom where my husband had to help me. I was being carried everywhere. And in my mind, there's no way that I could live like that. I wasn't even 30 years old. There's no way I could live like that. So again, why? Why is this happening? And when I went to my neurologist and asked them this, I'm like, there's got to be something we can do. I said, what about food? What about diet? And he said, Janine, just be grateful that no one ever dies from MS, and know that whatever you eat isn't going to make your disease any better or worse. Really? He goes, no, nothing. Okay. So fast forward a little bit. I'm paralyzed in my arms and my legs, and my then husband carries me to the chair in the living room, where he goes, listen, I'm going to run to 7-Eleven. I'll be right back. My 2-year-old daughter is sitting right in front of me on a blanket. And I want to say, please take her with you. And he goes, I'm going to leave Julie here. I'm like, okay, yeah, she'll probably be fine. Because she was a really good kid. And I knew she probably wasn't going to move. And the 7-Eleven was literally right down the block. They look at diet now. Denise, I know, they actually are starting to recognize that diet has some connection to your symptoms. So it is getting easier and easier as the years go by too. But then again, when I went to my neurologist and I showed him I had lost 100 pounds and I could use my arms and my legs again, he said, Janine, you are the stupidest patient I have ever had. He goes, you need to get on the medication right away. Now, when I went in there, I was convinced that he was going to take one look at me because I hadn't seen him in 7 years. Last time I saw him, I was paralyzed in my arms, right? Right, Denise, of course, for inflammation. So I walk into the doctor's office and I'm expecting him to be, oh my God, Janine, we have got to put you in the medical journals. This is amazing. And instead, he called me stupid. So anyway, so back to my story. So my husband, he goes to 7-Eleven, and in that time, my ex-husband, in that time, my daughter gets up. She's 2. She comes over to me and show me whatever, a toy that she was playing with. She trips on the area rug. She hits her head on the coffee table on the way down, and the thing on her head grows almost instantly. And you know that cry where the kids can't catch their breath at first, so their mouth is open and they look like they're about to scream, but they haven't caught their breath yet? That was Julie. So as she's doing that, finally catches her breath and starts screaming. I am trying to inch my way down off of the chair to get over to her. I never made it over to her. She made it over to me. And she wrapped her little chubby arms around my neck and kept screaming, Mama, 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 peas, Mama, peas. That's her, Mommy, please. So, as awful as that story is, and it gets slightly easier every time I tell the story, as awful as that story is, that was the moment. I'm also 8 weeks pregnant, okay? For those of you who don't know, I'm so emotional. That was the moment that changed everything. As awful as that was, it snapped. Something snapped inside of me. And I made this decision. I didn't realize it at the time, but I do remember thinking, that's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm either going to have MS or I'm going to be a mother. Because I also had 3, 4, 5, a 5.5-year-old in addition to my 2-year-old. And I knew I couldn't spend the rest of my life paralyzed watching them grow up in front of me. So, ex-husband walks in through the door and he goes, what the hell happened? Julie's got her arms wrapped around me. I'm on the floor now and she's screaming still. I'm crying. He goes, what the hell happened? I was gone for 2 seconds. And I told him what happened. And I said, that's it. I quit. I'm done. I can't, I need to figure out what this is. So I quit MS. And you know what I did? I quit my job. I was already out on disability, but I quit my job. Dawn says, we're going to take a break here and read a comment. Dawn says, you're making me cry, and I've heard you tell the story before. I know. And I could tell the story. Most of the time I'm fine, and then every once in a while it kind of just like hits me. Again, I'm a little tired today. I got up early. I've been going all day, and tomorrow's actually 8 weeks. So, and I'm still in the estrogen, so you can imagine my emotions are everywhere. So anyway, I changed everything in that moment, and I started changing the way I ate. When I got my, oh, Denise, what did you say? Sad, but, oh, important. I'm getting good with the abbreviations. My daughter does them all the time. Yeah, exactly. It's an important milestone in my life because that's when everything changed. So when I made that decision, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how I was going to do it or even if it was possible to do it, but I knew I was going to do it. That's all I knew. So I had gotten my arms back and my legs back eventually, at least a little bit more than what I had. I wasn't completely paralyzed. And I found this book called the MS Recovery Diet Book. That was the first book that led me to these 2 women who had healed themselves with nutrition. And I thought, all right, if somebody did it on this planet, then I'm sure as hell going to do it too. One thing led to another. All I knew was that people were healing from nutrition, or at least these 2 women did. They were in wheelchairs and then they were out. And I thought, okay, there is something inside my body. I know that my body is not attacking itself. No matter who you believe created our bodies, you have to know that we were created perfectly. There is no little switch in our bodies where if you do the wrong thing, all of a sudden your body's going to start attacking itself and it will just keep doing that. That's not a thing. But what is a thing is that our medical our medical industry hasn't caught up yet to understand what the hell's going on in our bodies. So what I did before I knew, I treated my body as if it had either a fungus, a virus, or a bacteria. I said, I know there's something inside my body that's not supposed to be there, so I'm just going to treat my body as if I had it all. And year after year, I kept getting better and better. First, I eliminated anything that I thought was going to be an allergen: gluten, soy, dairy. I think there was one more, I can't remember. But I eliminated everything, and I ate like that for 3 months. Immediately, the brain fog was so much better. Immediately, I had more energy. So I took my little tiny wins and I kept on going. And year after year, I kept getting better and better. This was 13 years ago, by the way. So fast forward to 2015. I'm going to fast forward for this time's sake of my husband at the time. As soon as I was able to walk again and stay awake till at least dinner time, and go food shopping by myself, I came home from Whole Foods. You know, Whole Foods where you spend your entire paycheck? Well, I did. I went there and I spent a shit ton of money. And I came back to a note from my husband that said, I'm sorry, I can't do this life anymore with you. Good luck raising the kids. And I needed money for my new apartment, so there's nothing in our checking account, and you have 3 months left on your car. Yeah. So, but another moment, and this was 3 years after I started getting healthy, another moment where I said, this is not going to take me down. I could either let this situation, I had $0, I wasn't working, and like he just said, I had no money in the bank now and 3 months left on my leased car. So what I did was, I said to myself, all right, you could either let this situation take you down or you can kick some ass, because there is no way in hell that you are going to let his actions set you back to where you were. One, for my ego. My ego wouldn't let me do that. But two, who the hell was going to take care of my kids? My kids were now, she was 2, 3, 4, 5. So she was 5 and 6, 7, 8. He was 8. Julie and Christopher, by the way. So fast forward off of over all of that. Fast forward to 2015, I come across this book with this weird ass name, Medical Medium, right? And I go, okay, you know, someone said, oh, you know, you should read it. He talks about MS in there. Okay, so I fast forward to the page. In there, he speaks of MS being a virus. Now, I still had lingering symptoms left. So I'm like, oh, really? It's a virus? What virus? It's the Epstein-Barr virus. And he went on to talk about how there are all these different stages of the Epstein-Barr virus. Now, I did a whole video, I think back in May. If you just scroll a little bit or go to the media, I was wearing a green sweater. I go through all the stages of MS. And those stages are amazing, because to me, when I first read them, it was like reading my childhood, all starting from when I had mono when I was in middle school. So it was amazing to read. You have to go back and look at that video, because we're not going to do that today. The 4 stages of MS, of Epstein-Barr, sorry. So, where was I? So I was saying that, okay, so I'm reading about the Epstein-Barr virus, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I knew something was in my body. I knew that I had to either treat a virus, a bacteria, or a fungus. Now that I knew that it was a virus, Denise, you had mono at 19. That's where it starts. All right, I have to go through this quickly. All right, so the first stage of mono, you don't even know, not mono, Epstein-Barr. The first stage of Epstein-Barr, you don't even know that you have it, because it's building up its numbers in your body, its viral load, and you don't have any symptoms, right? The second stage is the mononucleosis. That's where you do get symptoms, or maybe you don't get symptoms, because a lot of people, just like with COVID, some people get it really bad or in the hospitalized or even die, and then other people, they didn't even know they had it, like my girlfriend's Savine. She's like, you know what, if I didn't get tested, I would have thought I had allergies. It was nothing for her. It's the same thing with mononucleosis. So, okay, so let's say you did get symptoms and you were in the hospital and then you recover. I was homeschooled for 3 months because of the fatigue. I don't feel like it ever went away. But anyway, so then what happens is you get better, right? And then the doctor says, okay, you no longer have Epstein-Barr. Well, that's not true. What happens is Epstein-Barr never actually dies or leaves your system. What it does is now that it's out of your bloodstream, right, because the doctors now test your blood and go, oh, you only have the antibodies. You don't have it anymore. You do. What happens is it leaves your bloodstream and it goes to an organ, usually your spleen or your liver. Now, why does it like those two organs? Well, one is because it's a place where your heavy metals tend to collect, and that's something else that the Epstein-Barr virus feeds on is heavy metals, so it really likes your liver and your spleen. Its final destination, though, is your nerves. The reason why it likes your nerves is because it's like a highway to all your other organs where it can eat, because that's where your heavy metals are going to reside. Take a break real quick and read some comments here. I see them piling up. Okay, Denise, yeah, you had mono at 19. I think I was 14. I was in middle school. I've had chronic EBV since I was 15. See, everyone who has Epstein-Barr is later diagnosed with the mononucleosis, is later diagnosed with, I'm having such a day today, with multiple sclerosis. And if you read about, we're going to keep going, hold on a second. So Jonas says, I too was diagnosed with mono at 19, but had random numb spots from 13 on. Yes, I had a random numb spot on my back. It was the weirdest patch of numb skin. Now, the numbness comes a lot from the heavy metals that are on our nerves sometimes, and the signal gets caught right there. We're going to talk, I'm all over the place today, but we're going to talk about that in a second too. Tiffany, oh, this is amazing. I also had liver disease prior to my MS diagnosis. Exactly, your liver was inflamed. Why? Probably because it had so much of those toxic heavy metals in there, and the viruses were feeding in there, so it was completely inflamed, and that's what they call liver disease. Denise, hospitalized, yep, just like me. Blanca, I don't even know if I ever had EBV. You know what? Blanca, the only test now is for the antibodies. So if you were to go get a blood test in your blood, like I said, that's only stage 2. Once it leaves your blood, you have to go get an organ biopsied before you can see it again. But if you have the antibodies for Epstein-Barr, that means that you still have the virus. It's still in you, especially if you have symptoms that they're now calling MS. So yeah, you can get that test. It's actually not that expensive, and insurance might cover it. Denise, MS diagnosed in my 50s, right? So what, you said you were 19 with, yeah. Well, there are 60 different strains of the Epstein-Barr virus. 60. So I think he says 85% of the people in the world, forget Americans, the people in the world have a strain of the Epstein-Barr virus. And depending on which one will depend on their symptoms, whether or not they even get any symptoms. But if you notice, the autoimmune diseases are off the charts. And how do they categorize an autoimmune disease? They say your immune system is attacking itself. It is not attacking itself. It can't do that. It's attacking the Epstein-Barr virus that the medical instruments can't see. They will be able to see that. This is what the medical medium says. They will be, and I can't speak to this, but he says they will be able to see them in a few decades. So that's why I always like to joke and say when I'm 80 years old, all of this information that I'm saying right now is going to be like, this is what the doctors say. Like, it's no big deal at all. And I'm going to be telling my grandkids how scandalous I was back in the 40s, you know, when I talked about Epstein-Barr. Cracks me up. Tiffany says, my mind is blown. Yes, so was mine the first time I heard about this. And it's not just like I heard about it. I was like, okay, you say it's the Epstein-Barr virus and you say that I can kill it. So I started killing it in 2015. I have gotten rid of every single symptom. I don't have the numb patches anymore. I don't have the numb toes. I don't have the dizziness, which I had every day at 3 o'clock and would not go away until the next day. I don't have any symptoms anymore. However, the main question I get is, can you eat however you want today? And the answer is no. And I'll get back to that in just a second. Reminds me how I eat today. Because I want to read more of these comments, because once they go up, I don't know how to get them back down. All right, so Tiffany, I said that, okay, mind is blown. So is mine. Nikki says, I had mono twice at 19 and at age 20. Yeah. I know, it's amazing when you realize, like I said, when you read about those 4 stages of Epstein-Barr, it's like reading about your childhood, because you guys are going to realize that you've had symptoms since you can remember. Let me read more, and then I just want to go back to I want nutrition and electrical shocks. My MS diagnosis came at 42 and mono at 15, liver problems at 30. It's all connected. It's all the Epstein-Barr virus. Linda says, I'm not sure if this is related, but I had Bell's palsy. Yes, it is. My best friend just had Bell's palsy, and she has Raynaud's disease, which is also an autoimmune disease. All autoimmune diseases are caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so I just said that one. Diagnosed with MS at 50. And you see, the more people that we talk to, the more people are going to put the puzzle pieces together, right? They're going to say, yes, I had this, and now I have MS, or I had this, and now I have lupus. I had, these symptoms of Epstein-Barr, and now I have fibromyalgia, all the autoimmune diseases, because the medical industry does not want to say they don't know. So what they do is, I like to say, they body shame. They body shame us, and they say that our bodies are just attacking themselves. They're not. There's nothing wrong with you. You have a virus, and it is killed. It can be killed. I was going to say easily killed, but it's not easy to do. So that brings me back to, can I eat whatever I want today? No. Do I eat very well? Yes. I still have to stay away from my triggers. So the virus, in order to kill it, you have to do a number of things. 3 things every single day. You have to starve the virus so that you can weaken it enough to kill it. Then you have to use your very strong immune system that you fed with antioxidants every day to kill the weakened virus. Then you have to detox it out every single day, because even the dead corpse of the Epstein-Barr virus is a neurotoxin, which is going to give you neurological symptoms, the same ones you have now. So you have to starve the virus, you have to kill the virus, and then you have to detox it out. Now, the virus doesn't only feed on gluten, dairy, and eggs. Oh, if I didn't mention that before, you know how if you have an egg allergy, you can't get a regular vaccine? Because there are eggs in all vaccines. And that's because all viruses live on eggs. So in order to keep the virus alive inside that vial, there has to be eggs in it. So just know, I can't eat eggs. I can't eat gluten because the virus feeds on the gluten. And I eat very little dairy, if any at all. But when I was healing myself, I stayed away from dairy completely. So that's my diet today. Did I finish saying what I was saying before about what it eats? Not only does it eat food, the gluten, the dairy, and the eggs. That's what I was saying. But it also eats heavy metals. Its preferred food actually is heavy metals. That's why it left your spleen and your liver. But you can get rid of those heavy metals with the heavy metal detox smoothie that you're going to add as you're killing the virus, starving the virus, and detoxing it out. There's a smoothie of 5 ingredients. You put them all together, and this becomes my routine. I do a routine in the morning that's really not that hard, that now my kids and my now husband, the love of my life, which is why I'm pregnant at 43, because I remarried, and he's an amazing man, and he didn't have any children. And I know how much I love children, and I can't imagine this world where he's not a father. So, yeah, I agreed. It took us 3 years and IVF too, which is why I'm on so many freaking drugs, which leads me to the next question. Like a lot of people say, aren't you afraid taking all of these drugs? Because the third thing that Epstein-Barr thrives on is your hormones, okay? Now, I'm going to put something else together for you right now. Thrives on your hormones, especially the stress-related hormones, whatever upheaval of hormones that you're going through, which is why women get diagnosed with this so much more than men do. We have puberty. Well, we all have puberty, but we have pregnancy and we have menopause, okay? Now, you also hear right after a really stressful time, whether it be emotional or physical, like a car accident, people get diagnosed. Like my aunt, back when I was a kid, they said, oh, she got diagnosed with MS right after a car accident because the car accident brought it out. Oh, Jonah says congrats. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm very excited. I'm 8 weeks. I'm 8 weeks tomorrow. So I'm going through the nausea stage. So they said that the car accident brought out her MS. What happens is, because the virus feeds on your hormones, when you're in an emotional trauma or a physical trauma like a car accident, those stress hormones get released inside your body at such a high rate that the virus goes, ooh, it's a feeding frenzy. And what happens was, even if it was a weak strain before, it's so strong now because it just went on a feeding frenzy and like traveled throughout your entire body, which is why right before a diagnosis, you will find that you probably went through something very stressful. Denise, congrats. Thank you so much. Stress brought mine out. Exactly. So it's not I always wanted the answer to that question. Like, why do you say stress brings it out? Like, what is it about stress? And doctors couldn't answer that. Now we have an answer. Stress in your body, right? You feel stress up here, but then your body's response to it is to release cortisol. That cortisol is a hormone, and that's what the Epstein-Barr virus feeds on. And that's why you give it food like it's a smorgasbord. I don't know if I said that word right, but I like saying it. And the viral load increases, goes throughout your entire body, and that leads you to a diagnosis. But I want you all to know it is absolutely curable. No, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but I did do this. And it took me 13 years to finally get it down to a process. Tiffany says, I had a heart attack, then I was diagnosed. I'm so sorry about your heart attack. And I'm glad you're okay. And I hope, and you said congratulations before that, I missed that one, thank you. And I hope this information changes your life, because I don't want anyone out there thinking that they are stuck with this diagnosis or living with their symptoms. Amber, how are you doing? I had a car accident, broke my back, and I honestly think that's how it started. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely that's how it started. There's all different ways, right? Because we all have these different traumas that are going on in our life. And then some people say, well, wait a second, I didn't have any trauma in my life. Okay, fine. But you still had the virus. Maybe it was passed down because it goes through the birth canal, right? So you can pass it on. Yeah, I know, I can pass it on. And I did pass it on to my daughter. She already has symptoms, which is acne. She's already gluten-free, dairy-free, and she's doing really well. So we are going to curb it and live as if we are killing the Epstein virus from the time we started last year, so the time that she's 14. So she won't ever have to worry about debilitating effects. And what's great is that my kids have seen what I have gone through with MS. And now they just think that MS is just something to overcome. They're like, yeah, it's MS. It's an autoimmune disease. It's not scary to them. Mom got through it. It's no big deal. So I want everyone to have that mindset. Okay, I'm missing some comments here. Oh, God, Sabrina, I had a mild stroke, she says, at 39. Then I came down with MS. The trauma, exactly. Linda, I try to stay away from sugar as well. Yes, sugar, your brain needs sugar. We all need sugar, but you're right. That processed white sugar is also inflaming your body. But Epstein-Barr virus doesn't feed on white sugar. What that does is it inflames your body, and that's a whole nother talk on inflammation. So it's not just one thing. There's all these puzzle pieces, but yeah, staying off of the white sugar, or at least doing a very, very little bit, is going to make a huge difference in your symptoms. Linda says, I try to stay away. Oh, sorry, I just read that one. Tiffany, it went down for a second. You should be all over the news. You know what? That's my, Tiffany says you should be all over the news. That's what my ego says. I should be all over the news. But honestly, that's why I put together the Minding Your Soul group, is so that I did have an outlet and a platform to tell people. Because like I said in the beginning, I was laying in that bed, which is right next to me. I still sleep in the same bed, praying to God to please help me, because there's no way that I can live like this. And I promised him that I would spend the rest of my life healing people and teaching them how I did it, so that they don't have to live the way I did. I don't want anyone to suffer the way I did. That was God awful. It was one thing after the next. I did a podcast with Matt Rowe. He does the identity of MS, where I focus on nutrition. He focuses on the mindset of MS and how to get out of I am sick. Great guy. I did a podcast with him, and you hear my story. Julie falling in front of me, my husband leaving, and then a year later, 2 years later, Hurricane Sandy hit and a tree fell into my kitchen. And there I was with 2 kids, MS, a tree in my kitchen, and absolutely, literally zero support. It was insane. Tiffany asked, so it can be passed down. Oh, absolutely, it can be passed down. Yeah, from generation to generation, actually, because it goes through the birth canal. Someone asked me on my last live, what about a C-section? Can it be passed through there still? And I don't know the answer to that, but I do know from the medical medium that it can go through your birth canal. Denise writes, how do you get calcium for your bones if you eliminate dairy? Excellent question, because not many people know this. I am so dramatic today. All right, how do you get calcium, right? If you eliminate dairy. Dairy, get this, is the worst form of calcium for your body. Your body reacts to dairy the way it does the flu under an MRI. If you were to go under an MRI, your body reacts to dairy the same way it does the flu. The best way to get your calcium needs is through leafy greens and lemons. Believe it or not, lemons. It's the craziest thing. Go look that up. There's so much information on there. Wait, how do I? Okay, I'm back. So Linda says, so we should eat gluten-free and dairy-free? Absolutely, absolutely. And at the end of this, when we're finishing up, I will let you know about the program that I put together to save you guys 13 years that it took me to figure all of this out. There's a system that you can follow. And yes, a big part of it is going gluten-free and dairy-free, which is not that hard if you have a good friend to tell you what brands to stay away from. Okay, so Tiffany says, I need to check him out. I'm still learning this disease. Yeah, medical medium is a huge resource. Tiffany also says, that makes sense because my grandmother and my mom had it. I need to tell my son to be tested. Look for his symptoms. They are going to test in the blood, right? And if the load is there in the blood and you can see it and he doesn't have any symptoms, then that's great because you can kill it easily. But if he only has the antibodies, that means he did have it. He has a mild strain and it's in his organs. And it could take decades or maybe never at all that it would change and morph and cause symptoms. So don't always worry. Actually, you don't ever have to worry. Almond milk. Yes, love almond milk and coconut milk. I made chia seed pudding yesterday with coconut milk. Oh my God, with a little vanilla. So good. Okay, so guys, I wanted to tell you, so in Minding Your Soul, that's why I created this group. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I want you to share your stories and everything. Tiffany, he's 20 and has shown signs of a fatty liver. Oh, there you go. Okay, that's fine. I have a program. I'm still working on getting it into the website because I'm not a tech person at all, but I'm learning it. I'm going to launch in the group soon, but if you need to start sooner, I have 2 people that are actually starting before I even have it in the website. They're starting on Tuesday. I called it Path to Healing because it gets you on the path to healing. It's 5 modules, right? And each module builds upon the next. So you start with your morning routine, and then we walk you through going gluten-free. It's a 16-week program. Then we go and we tackle the heavy metals. Then we clean out your liver, and then we set you up to rebuild the rest of your life because you are symptom-free. So if you're interested in that, you can go to, you can just send me a message and say you want more information on that. I was going to say go to my website, but I hired someone and he's working on it right now, and I went there today, and it was, the entire program was on there, right? The whole program, like anyone could have downloaded it. I need to spend a little bit more money on a freelancer if I expect to have a good job. But anyway, if you want to read more about my story, I have a homemade website. It's called mindingyoursoul.com, same as the Facebook group, but it's just the website. Go there, book a free consultation with me. It says 30 minutes, but anyone who's had, I wish Jackie was on this live right now because she knows she's booked a couple 30-minute consultations with me, and we're on the phone for like an hour and a half. So yeah, I say 30 minutes, it's free. Just call me, schedule that, go on there. We'll talk about the program. You might need it, you might not need it, but this way you get more information. And let me know what you're struggling with, because I like to do these videos every week based on the symptoms that you're struggling with, the people who are watching these videos, what you're struggling with, because you don't have to struggle with them. You don't have to struggle with the brain fog and the fatigue. Your body is constantly attacking itself. We just need to bring that down. And there's ways to do it. Oh my God, celery juice. Read about the celery juice. All right, it's 5:40, and I actually have to take my daughter at 6 o'clock to meet someone that she's been talking to for 8 months, and she's meeting him for the first time, so this is a very exciting day. I was hoping that I wasn't going to have to cancel this live at 5, so I'm so glad I made it. I had so much fun talking to you guys. Oh, there's Dawn. How are you? Yeah, you're the one. You and I did a free consultation too. That was a lot more than 30 minutes. So I don't want you guys to think it's going to be limited to 30 minutes. However we can talk, however long we need to talk, we will. So go to mindingyoursoul.com. There's a button on there. I think it's called, I don't know, it's towards the end. You'll see it. It's not called coaching. I should name it coaching. Or just send me a private message and I'll hook you up. All right, Denise, you are so welcome. Tiffany, you're so welcome. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. I love talking to you guys. I can't wait to do this next week. So if you have a specific question that you want me to answer next week, I was thinking about doing a question and answer period. so that this way you can submit your questions in, or you can go on live and ask me the questions. So it'll be a question and answer type deal. I think it was 15 minutes. Yeah. So Dawn says her consultation was 15 minutes. Nikki, you're so welcome. Everybody, thank you so much for joining in. This is so much more fun when I'm talking to people and answering questions. So I appreciate your time. Please, I just want to leave you with one thing. Do not worry. This is all fixable. This is all curable. Your body is not attacking itself. Your body doesn't do that. Your body loves you and it wants to heal. We just got to get, you out of its way so that it can heal. And that just is going to take a couple tips. Sabrina, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you, everybody. You all have a great night, and I will see you soon.